Hi. Well, it seems as if I'm in my study or maybe at my desk, but this position is so relaxing. Yeah, I know some people are saying, wow, I wish I could have that relaxed moment, but I'm busy. Busy doing what? Well, I'm married. I'm living in a home, or I have a significant other. Some people want to dispute that and argue that. But there is this rush to accommodate the partners or the spouses and to bring some clarity to the next couple hours. That's big terms for saying what we going to do and how we going to do it for the rest of the afternoon. I'm Dr. Kenneth Niles here this evening, helping you to define the way forward as we talk about marriage. But I also want to talk specifically about disappointment, the enigma within the marriage. And I say enigma, yes, because it's that thing that we can't seem to control, but we use to blame, or that thing which really crosses us, that is there within our lives. Now, when you got married, when you came into that relationship, tell me something. What was tomorrow looking like? What was the next month looking like? Did you see that on that wedding day? Did you see that on that day of acceptance of being one flesh? Did you see that anywhere at all? That, hey, there are going to be several 365 days, meaning there are going to be several years that I'm expected to be here. And what am I getting? What am I buying into? What am I giving myself to? Well, those are several questions that I trust you have answered or are going to answer. And I'm saying are going because I know this program is also viewed by people who are not yet married, people who also may be cohabiting, people who may be having arrangements within their own selves. And to define, excuse me, we are looking down the road with some expectations and some kind of plan for how this is going to pan out, how this is going to work. Now, honestly, the excitement of getting together usually is not a precursor for planning, or usually is not a precursor for what will be. It's just, hey, let's do this. Yes, I see you being an asset to my life. I see that I need you, you need me to go forward. We all this talk, but when the rubber meets the road, when we have either said I do or we have agreed and we pack our things and leave one home to go into another where we are now in the same space, how do we interpret the tomorrow? How do we interpret what is happening with us? And I want us to appreciate that East meets West, North meets South, and there is this central context. Well, I am not sure sometimes about the central context, that when East meets West, there is a central space or environment. When North meets South, where are we meeting in between? Or are we more North-South than South-North, or Eastward than we are Westward? And I can give you certain variations of that conversation. But sometimes it seems that there is an imbalance in how we have determined the way forward because of our expectations coming out of our socialization. As single people, as people who have grown up with particular and very specific cultures and traditions that have now become norms after X amount of years, basically, we do not want to change. And by this time, we are calling ourselves adult. We want to be that person who definitely is adult. You know, that feeling of maturity, that feeling of growth. But maturity in itself is one of those hazy words because it depends on the environment in which you were grown and groomed and cultured, and of course that big nice word, nurtured. So how do I really bring about some kind of assessment in terms of who is going to be better than, or who is going to satisfy? And I want us to think a little more about the need for that satisfaction within the arrangement of this particular relationship. Because we want to find a space called joy. We want to find that joy, bringing us into that realm of happiness and bliss. And we want to be excitable and have great days. And we want to champion the cause. And we want to really make sure that each one of us are together. We are doing so fine. And oh, you make me so, But alas, we have to keep our foot on the ground and remember it's about cognition and behavior. It's about thought and action. What about that? Have I really sat down and assessed my partner's thoughts and really see why the behavior? Have I gone maybe to Granny and say, how does your grandson fare? How has he been growing up? Have I really spoken to parents and relatives about that mindset that continually has been jilted, jarred, excited, commended, not commended over the years, disappointments, let's use that word, not having realistic ideologies? How has the behavior been? Well, I'm not sure that we really want to do that or even think about doing that. Some people may. I'm not saying you don't, but it's minority maybe, because we just have a nice feeling. He makes me nice. We go for ice cream, we go here, we go there, and we talk about what we want to do. We want children, we want a house, we want a car, we want education. Basically, how many of us really sit down to ask about behavior? Because that is what we want in the relationship called marriage, in the relationship that we have established together for eternity. Till death do part. But let's not discuss the death parting yet, because who knows? It depends, yes, it depends. And for some of us, we may have that kind of thought in our minds. How long is it really going to be dead to us part? How long is something going to come up that I may want to change my mind? Well, it depends on how we really interpret that word adult, because that word makes one feel that you should know. And may I add to that better? You should know. You should know what to do. You should know how to behave. You didn't get any training or what? Your mother didn't train you. You have no manners. You have no brought up. See, we used all these terms, especially within a Caribbean context, that initially is wanting you to have that kind of thought that I have, that you should have. Because I have been brought up. Have you been? I have been cultured. Have you been? So, yes, I'm in a home now, living with a guy who I'm suddenly realizing that, difference. Let me not say bad behavior. He or she does it differently. And so I am now faced with these unknown factors. I am now faced with trying to find out what would he do when he thinks, what will she do? So there's this spousal, this gender issue, this sex context that we are having all the time in terms of maleness, in terms of femininity, in terms of masculinity, in terms of identity, strengths, desires, and we have all these things in our minds. How are we playing this out when we have not really sat down to define that? And by the way, I know you could tell me, I tried. Well, I would have asked a question and didn't get an answer. And that's good too, because I realized from experience and interrelating and working with people, when those questions are asked, there is silence. Nobody really readily and really or truly wants to talk about themselves, or wants you to know something that they think may run your way, or may think that the other partner would not want to say yes, and that will be the end of the relationship. So I keep these things, but once you get into that one space, those things are going to come out inertly, because behavior comes out of thought patterns. And those thought patterns have always been there. It's just that they were away from each other because you lived into different spaces. But now that you've come into that space, it is important for you to understand, yes, there are known factors. The ignorance of behavior. I do not know how you really will behave. I do not know how and what I will see. And so therefore, am I supposed to now acknowledge that we have differences? I didn't expect that we would have differences, but yes, you must expect. You did not grow up in the same home. You were not socialized the same way. You had two different sets, may I use that word, sets of family. And so therefore now that you're coming into each other to make a family, that it's going to be that synchronization, that the synergy, that coming together, that blending, that molding, that forging into one. From these two perspectives, these two different dynamics, wow, what are we going to have? And we're not talking about children here, no. What are we going to have in terms of our lifestyle? So I have expectations. I'm looking for outcomes. And when I don't see them, I'm really with this disappointment, because alas, I didn't expect this. I didn't buy this. I didn't leave my hope to come into this. I never thought I would have to handle this. There are so many cliches or sentences that you can share that puts you to that place where you feel crushed and feel that you're about to waste time, and how am I going to get out of this? But before we try to get out of it, let's see if we can maybe mend it, or let's see if we can clean it up. We are accustomed cleaning. Yeah, we bathe every day. Well, you bathe. You clean the house daily, weekly. You polish shoes, you scrub your teeth. You know, cleaning is something that's part of us. But so that when we come to relationships, I want to encourage us that we can do the same. We need not just, we don't throw away our teeth when it's dirty, or just throw away the clothes, or just throw away ourselves. No, we wash them in a machine, we soap ourselves, we get water, we brush our teeth, we clean, and we keep the furniture, we keep the stove, we just clean it. Therefore, we don't just have to throw away the partner and say, I can't know, because we know how to clean. And one of the things that's important here is that we are acknowledging the fact that there are differences of cultures, there are differences of behaviors, and the norms that we have had, we have to learn how to bring transition to make it work. So that we're talking about the waiting on. I have to wait on my partner so that I can find out what is in my partner's head. So we hear things like, I'm talking to you, not listen to me. You don't understand what I'm saying. And you ought to say, yes, I don't understand what you're saying, because you're speaking differently to what I have heard over the last maybe 25 plus years. The language is different. You know, some of us would have come up with certain educational environments that would pertain to the Queen's English, or some would have come up to vernacular or street language. And we have all of these classifications or the linguistical frames that you may not know of but exist. And so that when we get together and we talk, they said, what do you mean by that? Why you can say that? No, I didn't mean that. I meant that. Oh, you can say I mean that, you lie. Yeah, you're not real. Hold on. We have to acknowledge that We are continuously in a frame of learning. And that's what I mean by waiting. Are we willing to wait on it? And I'm using that word specific and very direct. Are we willing to wait on our partners? Or are we willing to learn of them, from them? Because you're not going to just learn overnight. You're not just going to define, hey, okay, we're together and I know you. No. It's really a lifetime. It's really a lifetime. Should I repeat that? It's an eternal perspective. The knowing. And so therefore, I have to begin to accept that I have to wait. I have to learn to be patient. I have to learn to be tolerant, to hear of my partner, from my partner, for my partner's sake. So I have to learn to come into that place where I can bring from him to me the knowledge that will help my understanding so I could abide with. So I'm waiting on to abide with. I'm waiting on to abide with. Because I want to abide. Yes, you want to abide. You remember those days before? I love you. Like I can't do without you. But all of a sudden, one skewed behavior, and you're thinking about change, or rather thinking about leaving. You're thinking about, I can't handle this. Hold on. We have capacity, as I said, to clean. We have capacity to amend and to mend. So therefore, let us learn to wait on so we can abide with. And in the abiding, it's about that sharing. Now, as I abide, I am beginning to share me with you, as you have shared with me. Because I am now not just waiting, now I am living with the knowledge that helps me to transition or to translate the behavior with that comprehension that you are not attacking or against me, or you're not just ignorant, no. But that's what it means to you, for your own existence. When I talk about this, sometimes I wonder if people just want to clone the partners. I want to make them what they have been, like themselves. But we have to realize that it is not that we want to clone or we need to clone. It is that we want things I don't think we want. What should I say here? We have an anticipation that if you are like me, life is going to be easier. Is that okay? So that if both partners are the same, may I use the word wavelength, are doing the same things the same way, it's going to be easy. We are not going to have any problems because we are meshing. I've heard people say, we're ticking. Yes, you may be ticking. Yes, we'll be meshing. But you just don't want to have no opportunity of defining a much more rigorous and robust conversation or thought pattern or behavior that brings a new freshness to what you had. Let's say you got into this relationship and married and cohabiting or coming to that place, let's say at 25. For 25 years you've been doing it this way. But all of a sudden, and I say all of a sudden, there's a fresh way. Did I say fresh? Okay. There's a fresh way. Maybe let's use a different. There's a different way that may bring freshness. That's better. A different way that may bring freshness to you in terms of how you have been interpreting that particular activity. Do you want that? Or you like it the same old? That's how I know it. And that is where the issue is. That's how I know it, and there is a resistance for change. But the other partner is very present, who cannot complement in terms of working the way you work because they have not even been exposed to you and what you're saying. So how do we work out acceptance? What are we saying about acceptance? And so it's important for us to come into that place where we learn to accept the facts of difference. That our partner does have another kind of thought pattern. And I need to learn, and he needs or she needs to learn from me. Hi, how are we going there? So, let's see how I can just rest in knowing that I am waiting on you, I am abiding with you, and I am accepting you. I'm accepting. Because I want to really learn how to work with, how to relate to, how to participate with. I don't want to just fight trying to, for each of us, each spouse, each partner, trying to say, it's my way, you're not doing it right. This is how it's put. Hold on. There are so many different ways. But what we need to do is to come out of the concept of being disappointed and to have a realization that there can be a way forward beautifully if we will learn to wait on each other. So, I'm going to slow down here and stop. And at the next broadcast, we will continue this conversation. And I want to bring in the concept of change. How do we change? And how do we readily accept change? Well, for better, for worse, spiritual power. All those are very interesting icons that are necessary for us to discuss as we look at this issue of disappointment, enigma within a marriage, within a relationship. So, I'm signing off here. That's okay. Before I do that, remember, we are waiting on, we are abiding with, and we are accepting. And we are working this out because we are really interested in making this relationship very, very real, very real, in understanding that we have engaged each other from different platforms, different perspectives, and we can make it if we will just share our differences. So, Dr. Niles, sign off on this great day. Continue to be expectant for your future.